Will it become a reality? The Lakers have just been connected to a move so massive that it has the potential to tilt the entire balance of the NBA. Yes, the idea of another superstar-level shift involving Los Angeles is back on the table, and if even part of this plays out, the impact would be immediate. But what almost nobody is breaking down correctly is who would actually be involved, what pieces would move behind the scenes, and what this says about the real direction of LeBron James and the franchise as a whole going forward. Stay with me until the very end, because there are layers to this story that most people aren't touching yet, and those details completely change how you should be viewing the Lakers' future. Things are lining up in a way that could permanently reshape the league's power structure. So let's lock in and get into today's breakdown. Before we get into the details, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on. Unfortunately, 99% of our viewers aren't subscribed, which makes YouTube think we're not relevant. The next stretch of content will be entirely focused on Lakers-related news, roster moves, and league context. If you want to stay informed as things unfold, this is the place to do it. And as always, if you support this kind of coverage, hitting the like button helps more than you might think. What's circulating around the NBA right now isn't just another recycled rumor that pops up on debate shows and disappears. This one has real front office tension behind it, and it's sending a jolt through Lakers Nation. Something that initially sounded like wild speculation has quietly turned into a legitimate conversation among executives and insiders. And now everyone is trying to process the possibility of one of the most seismic shifts in modern basketball: LeBron James potentially teaming up with Stephen Curry on the Golden State Warriors. To be clear, this is still rumor-based reporting, but it's a rumor being treated seriously in league circles. Yes, you heard that correctly. As unbelievable as it sounds, this is no longer being laughed off as fantasy. Longtime Lakers fans are debating it non-stop, on social media, on radio shows, even in everyday conversations, because the implications are enormous. Would LeBron really leave? Are we witnessing the closing chapter of this era in Los Angeles? No one has definitive answers yet, but one thing is undeniable. This conversation is only getting louder, and it's already splitting the fan base right down the middle. On one side, you have Golden State, desperate not to waste the final elite years of Stephen Curry's brilliance. On the other, you have the Lakers quietly positioning themselves for a dramatic reset. The name gaining serious traction within league chatter is Luka Doncic, and the fact that his name is even part of the discussion tells you how far the Lakers front office might be willing to go. This wouldn't be a soft transition. It would be a full commitment to reshaping the franchise around a new centerpiece. Here's where the real shockwave comes in. The framework being whispered about involves LeBron James and Bronny James heading to San Francisco. In return, Los Angeles would receive Jimmy Butler, along with draft compensation or young assets like Quentin Grimes or Will Richard. And surprisingly, when you line it all up, the money actually works within league rules. This isn't a pipe dream. From a cap and salary matching standpoint, it's clean, calculated, and very real on paper. Again, emphasizing that this remains unconfirmed rumor, not an announced deal. Now let's slow this down because this is where reality sets in. LeBron holds a full no-trade clause. Nothing happens unless he signs off on it. No leverage play, no behind-the-scenes maneuvering overrides that. He controls the switch, and that's exactly why this scenario is being handled so delicately. If this ever becomes more than talk, it's because LeBron himself decided it was time. And basketball-wise, you can't ignore the fit next to Curry. We've already seen them share the floor in international competition, and the chemistry was immediate and effortless. No adjustment period, no awkward overlap. LeBron's vision, tempo control, and late-game decision-making would take an enormous burden off Curry, while Curry's gravity would create spacing LeBron hasn't consistently had in years. Think about the nightmare for opposing defenses. Double Curry, and LeBron picks you apart. Collapse on LeBron, and Curry is free. There is no right answer. That's the kind of pairing that fast-tracks a team straight back into championship contention without years of waiting. If you believe the Lakers can reclaim dominance someday, you understand why this moment matters so much. And from the Lakers' angle, bringing in Jimmy Butler changes the equation in a completely different way. Butler brings edge, defensive toughness, and playoff ferocity. He's the kind of player who drags intensity into every possession when the lights are brightest. Pair that with the idea of Doncic as the face of the next generation, and suddenly you have a roster built on both fire and finesse. Butler supplies the bite, the leadership, and the accountability that a young core needs to stabilize. Of course, this would also officially close the LeBron chapter in Los Angeles. It would be painful, emotional, possibly controversial. LeBron isn't just a player here, he's an era. For many fans, he is synonymous with the modern Lakers. But franchises reach moments where clinging to the past becomes more damaging than embracing the future. Sometimes the hardest move is the one that finally provides direction, a clean break, a new identity. I still believe in the Lakers, especially if you believe in decisive leadership. And yes, there are risks. Butler's injury history is real, and emotionally, watching a legend walk away leaves scars. That can't be brushed aside. But the upside is clarity, structure, purpose. No more half measures between contending and rebuilding. This would be a defining line in the sand, and honestly, that's what the Lakers need right now. If LeBron landed in Golden State, the shock would be instant, but the return could be far more dangerous than people realize. Say it out loud. This Warriors team would be a title threat immediately. Curry would regain the freedom he hasn't had in years, and the shared basketball IQ between LeBron, Curry, and Draymond Green would be off the charts. Their collective understanding of space, timing, and decision-making would be lethal. Still, this isn't a fairy tale. Age matters. Injuries matter. The financial penalties would be enormous. Only billionaire ownership can even entertain that level of payroll. But purely from a basketball standpoint, this isn't fantasy booking. It's elite-level strategy that could realistically send Golden State back to the finals. Write Lakers Go in the comments if you're still riding with this season. Because for Golden State, this would be an all-in bet on the present. One final push to give Curry another ring before time runs out. And honestly, who wouldn't want to see that story play out? For Los Angeles, the vision is different. It's about restarting with intent, not drifting. Pairing Butler with Doncic could finally deliver the mix of youth, toughness, and leadership this roster has been missing. But everything hinges on timing, negotiations, and emotions. If it happens, the NBA landscape changes overnight. Lakers fans will need to stay united. Trust the process if you believe in the strength of this franchise. Because behind the scenes, the tension is real. Every phone vibration sparks speculation. Is LeBron staying? Is Bronny included? Has Luka bought in? Is Butler healthy? Expectations are so high that every rumor feels like a crisis or a miracle. And the question hanging over all of it is simple. Do the Lakers have the courage to pull the trigger? If this deal ever becomes reality, the league will freeze. Headlines everywhere, debates nonstop. The kind of story even non-basketball fans talk about. LeBron and Curry together. Butler in purple and gold. This wouldn't just be a trade. It would be a turning point. For those of us who live this game, who feel every win and loss, this is about identity. The Lakers have never been about playing it safe. They've always been about greatness, about shaking the room, about writing history even when it hurts. And sometimes the next chapter begins with uncertainty. So tell me, are you ready for what could come next? Because if this bomb drops, you'll want to understand every angle. Go to the pinned comment, click the playlist with the hottest Lakers updates, and make sure notifications are set to all. Right, the future is purple and gold, if you believe this team will rise again. The next video might be the one that confirms everything. I'll see you there, because this story is only just beginning.